Question number 1. You want to administer farm-wide search in your SharePoint Server 2010 server farm. Which of the following tasks is not specific to fulfilling this function?
Bravo. Configuring authoritative web pages is the answer.
Question number 2. Which page type in SharePoint allows users to create visually appealing, responsive pages with drag and drop functionality and customizable layouts?
Well picked. Site page is the correct answer.
Question number 3. It is a computer network that uses Internet Protocol technology to share information, operating systems, or computer services within an organization.
On track. Intranet is the correct answer.
Question number 4. A SharePoint Server 2010 administrator is responsible for understanding several authentication methods. Which of the following is not one of them?
Smart pick. Non-standard simple bind is the correct choice.
Question number 5. You want to configure SharePoint to be able to send alert messages to mobile device users in your organization. Which protocol must be enabled?
Strong choice. SIMS is the right answer.
Question number 6. Which site type in SharePoint allows you to create a centralized knowledge base with articles, tutorials, and frequently asked questions?
Solid response. Community site is a valid choice.
Question number 7. Which page type in SharePoint is typically used for creating publishing-ready content with advanced formatting and layout options?
Great thinking. Publishing page is the right choice.
Question number 8. SharePoint application in case of wanting to create channel so everyone in the organization can access our information. What to do?
Smart move. Create communication site is an accurate answer.
Question number 9. In SharePoint Server 2010, a collection of one or more roles that are serviced by a set of worker processes is called what?
Valid point. Application pools is true.
Question number 10. Which site type in SharePoint is best suited for managing a specific project with tasks, timelines, and collaboration features?
Sharp thinking. Project site is the right choice.
Question number 11. I find contact details suppliers on.
Correct response. Branch is the most accurate answer.
Question number 12. Which feature of SharePoint allows you to reuse and apply consistent page designs throughout a site or site collection?
Nice work. You chose master pages, and it is correct.
Question number 13. Which page type in SharePoint is primarily used for creating and editing content using a simple and easy-to-use editor?
Right choice. Wiki page is the best answer.
Question number 14. Which site type in SharePoint is designed for broadcasting news, reports, and other updates to an organization?
Off. Right again. Communication site is a valid answer.
Question number 15. Which site type in SharePoint is primarily used for collaboration, document sharing, and team communication?
Nicely done. Team site is a solid answer.
Question number 16. Which service in SharePoint lets you automate content processing using advanced AI and machine teaching?
You got it? Your choice SharePoint syntax is right.
Question number 17. Which among the following is not an available view type in SharePoint for lists and document libraries?
You chose chart view, and it is correct.
Question number 18. Which site type in SharePoint is suitable for creating a public-facing website or an intranet portal?
Nice selection. Publishing site is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 19. You can use it as a secure place to store, organize, share, and access information from any device.
Good job. Your answer SharePoint works well here. Question number 20. What is the maximum number of major versions you can maintain in SharePoint version history? Exactly. 5,000 makes sense and it is right choice.
Question number 21. Windows Server service indispensable for SharePoint to work through the Internet protocols.
You're right. Is the correct answer.
Question number 22. In SharePoint, the deleted items from Recycle Bin can be recovered within how many days?
Excellent choice. 93 is the right answer.
Question number 23 from the following list, which is not a requirement to install SharePoint Services 3.0.
Excellent. Internet connection is a brilliant choice. Question number 24. Which of the following workflow types is installed automatically with SharePoint 2016? Correct. SharePoint 2016 Workflow Project Server is the right answer.
Question number 25. Which of the following is not a valid service applications for SharePoint Server 2010?
Perfect. Shared services providers is the correct choice. Question number 26. Which site on SharePoint would be better for collaboration in your department? Good thinking. Teams site is the right answer. Question number 27. Which SharePoint service provides a database that is used to store credentials? Great job. Secure Store Service is the accurate answer. Question number 28. Which of these columns are not auto-created while creating a SharePoint list? Well done. Description is the right choice. Question number 29. Which among these frontline worker licenses has access to SharePoint online? Clear logic. Your choice all of the above is sound and 100% true. Question number 30. Which of the following is not in the inventory folder in 6ops SharePoint? Well reasoned. VM capacity is the correct choice. Question number 31. Which of the following is not a benefit of using RAS feeds in SharePoint? Excellent. Enhanced search capabilities within SharePoint is a brilliant choice. Question number 32. When you want to add members to the group in SharePoint, do you choose?
Clear logic. Your choice add members is sound and 100% true.
Question number 33. When you already know the operation of SharePoint, it is more practical. Smart pick. Blank template is the correct choice. Question number 34. The following data on MC is not available on 6ops People SharePoint. Right choice. McSee report by position is the best answer. Question number 35. One of the two types of website that allows you to create SharePoint is... Good thinking. Informative within a company is the right answer. Question number 36. What would you do if you see a typo in any document on the SharePoint? You got it? Your choice corrected if you can is right. Question number 37. What kind of integration does SharePoint offer with Microsoft Office? On track. Allows Office document management and management directly from SharePoint.
is the correct answer.
Question number 38. Basically, how many types of website can you develop with SharePoint?
Good job. Your answer of the works well here.
Question number 39. Which of the following is not a type of list available in SharePoint? You chose Web Part Gallery, and it is correct.
Question number 40. What are the advantages of using SharePoint for team collaboration?
Well done. All of the above is the right choice. Question number 41. Which is the ideal place in SharePoint to store files or documents? Perfect. Document library is the correct choice. Question number 42. How can you enforce unique values in a column of a SharePoint list? Excellent choice. By applying column validation formulas is the right answer. Question number 43. Multilingual capability in SharePoint sites is supported in Dash. Nice selection. Communication sites is the correct and valid answer. Question number 44. How can you outline metadata for documents or items in SharePoint?
Great job. By creating custom site columns and content types is the accurate answer.
Question number 45. Should I share personal and confidential information in SharePoint?
Great thinking. No is the right choice.
Question number 46. Which among these is not a valid column type in SharePoint lists?
Sharp thinking. Password column is the right choice.
Question number 47. To access the Microsoft 365 apps, you type in your browser dash. Correct. Double Office.com is the right answer. Question number 48. What is the primary container for content on a SharePoint page? Strong choice. Web part is the right answer. Question number 49. Which item do you choose to describe your site on SharePoint? Exactly. Site description makes sense and it is right choice. Question number 50. What is the maximum limit of uploading on online SharePoint? Correct response. 10 GB is the most accurate answer. Question number 51. What does contribute access in a SharePoint list let you do? Valid point. Insert, update, and delete a list item is true. Question number 52. What is the basic storage allocation for online SharePoint? Smart move. 1 TB plus 0.5 GB user is an accurate answer. Question number 53. Which of the following is the application of Office 365?
Well reasoned. SharePoint, Skype, Word, PowerPoint is the correct choice.
Question number 54. Which tab can you add the SharePoint folder to the team?
Nicely done. Files is a solid answer.
Question number 55. To create a new site on Microsoft SharePoint, you press. Well picked. Create site is the correct answer. Question number 56. In how many days are SharePoint online sites backed up?
You're right. 14 days is the correct answer.
Question number 57. Which of the following is not a feature of SharePoint? Solid response. Video editing is a valid choice. Question number 58. Which of the following is not a tool from Office 365?
Right again. Photoshop is a valid answer.
Question number 59. Your SharePoint can be accessed via Microsoft Teams. Bravo. True is the answer. Question number 60. What is the primary function of Microsoft OneDrive? Nice work. You chose to store and share files online, and it is correct. Question number 61. What is the main function of the SharePoint sites? Nice work. You chose allow collaboration and share information, and it is correct. Question number 62. When was the first version of SharePoint launched? Right choice. 2001 is the best answer.
Question number 63. The name of the email app in Microsoft 365 is Dash.
Solid response. Outlook is a valid choice.
Question number 64. To use Office Online and OneDrive, you need Dash.
Nicely done. A Microsoft account is a solid answer.
Question number 65. Which website is related to SharePoint training?
Great job. Hetips Gup Support Office. Comga Enas SharePoint is the accurate answer. Question number 66. Can you create a notebook using SharePoint?
Strong choice. Yes is the right answer.
Question number 67. Where do we need to upload our S-videos? Excellent. Under 6ops people, SharePoint is a brilliant choice.
Question number 68. Who has access to OneDrive and SharePoint? Well picked. Staff and volunteers with an account now is the correct answer. Question number 69. Can I use my phone to access SharePoint?
Good thinking. Yes is the right answer. Question number 70. Sites that you can't find in SharePoint. You got it? Your choice, Pedro SharePoint, is right.
Question number 71. Microsoft SharePoint is a tool for Dash.
Excellent choice. Manage documents is the right answer. Question number 72. SharePoint is an app for work Dash. Well done. Group is the right choice. Question number 73. A SharePoint advantage is Dash. Exactly. Wide range of characteristics. Makes sense and it is right choice. Question number 74. What is metadata in SharePoint? Great thinking. The descriptive information about a document or item is the right choice. Question number 75. In SharePoint, you can add Dash.
Bravo. TA is the answer.
Question number 76. What is SharePoint used for? Valid point. Prepare private websites is true. Question number 77. SharePoint allows us Dash. Right again. Store information from any device is a valid answer.
Question number 78. Why do we use SharePoint?
Correct response. All of the above is the most accurate answer. Question number 79. What does MOS stand for? On track. Microsoft Office SharePoint Server is the correct answer. Question number 80. SharePoint is Dash.
Perfect. An extranet is the correct choice.
Question number 81. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format? Clear logic. Your choice contact Narayan Changda is sound and 100% true.